Hey everyone, it's Christina Holloway here. Welcome back to my channel. Let me tell you a quick story. I once had a boss who believed leadership was about fear. She loved public shaming, micromanaging every sentence in an email, and gave feedback in front of other people so you'd learn something. And I thought, if this is leadership, I want no part of it. But here's the catch: I still wanted to grow. I still wanted more responsibility. I just didn't want to become her in the process. So, what do you do when you want to grow, but your only example of leadership is someone who should absolutely not be leading? Let's talk about how to grow it as a leader when you have a terrible role model and how to become the kind of leader you wish you had. Here's the thing about terrible leaders: they don't just make work miserable, they confuse you. Because leadership is one of those things we learn by watching. We absorb it, copy it, and repeat it without even realizing it. And that's what I tell young people who are straight out of college. Your guides and professors were knowledgeable and steered you to learn things. When you get your first boss, it's a real crapshoot if that's going to be a good person, because most times those bosses are overwhelmed and stretched thin, and they do questionable things to get the job done. So, in previous videos, I talked about the Hogan assessment and what we can learn about ourselves based on the results. There are some measures in these reports that really inform how we develop our leadership style. By the way, if you want me to go through these reports so you can see what they're like, let me know in the comments below. I might be able to pull that together. Anyway, there are measures in our personality, like the measure for interpersonal sensitivity and ambition, that can make us more likely to seek to succeed through what we see around us. If you're wired to be empathetic, maybe you're high in interpersonal sensitivity, you might find yourself over adapting. You start copying some bad habits to survive. Why? Because you're really good at reading the room and getting a sense for what's happening without needing too much direction. And if that's the case, you may try to adapt to the environment around you so you can succeed according to some unspoken rules because you figured that out. Or if you're high in ambition, you might rebel completely. You say, no way, not for me. But now you're stuck figuring it all out with no playbook, because for you, success means you like taking charge, making decisions, and accepting difficult challenges. And you have no intention of failing. That means you'll have your antenna up when it comes to bad leadership. You may know what you don't like, but if you're still learning, it's going to be hard to figure out what you do like or to see that in the environment around you. I had a client, let's call her Irene, who said, I'm trying so hard to be what my boss wants, but I hate the way she leads. And I said, well, good for you. You have awareness of what doesn't work and you have clarity of what you're trying to accomplish. You're halfway there. So let's talk pop culture for a second, because sometimes it helps to see these dynamics outside our own lives. Think about Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada: ice cold, emotionally unavailable, uses fear as a motivator. Now, think about Rebecca Welton in Ted Lasso: a little rough at first, but eventually finds power in kindness, strategy, and vulnerability. Both women in leadership, totally different styles, totally different impacts. Also, shout out to Rebecca Welton's vulnerability in this show. It is French kiss powerful. The problem is, if you only ever worked for Miranda's, you don't know how to lead like Rebecca's. You've never seen it modeled. So you end up making it up as you go along. But here's the truth: you can be the leader you never had. Step one, make a never list. Write down the things you will not do: micromanaging, public humiliation, passive aggressive feedback. Create your list of leadership red flags and commit to doing the opposite. Step two, define your values. Ask yourself, what kind of leader feels right to me? Maybe it's clarity, maybe it's consistency, maybe it's creating psychological safety. Write down 3 values you want to embody and check yourself against them weekly. Step three, steal like an artist. No good leader in your chain of command? Fine. Look outside. Podcasts, books, characters, coaches. Borrow what works, toss the rest. I had a client who built her entire leadership philosophy off lessons from Captain Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Calm, fair, funny when it matters. It worked. Step 4, start leading where you are. You don't need a title, you don't need permission. Leadership is about how you influence, how you show up, and how you treat people in hard moments. That's it. I worked with a manager who said, I don't think of myself as a leader yet. But when we broke it down, she was mentoring peers, supporting team members, solving conflicts without anyone asking her to. That's leadership with a side of shifted perspective. And she owned it after that conversation. So here's what I want you to remember: you are not broken because no one showed you the right way. You're not unqualified because you reject toxic leadership. You're growing through the cracks. And that's something to be proud of. You don't need to become them. You don't need to prove yourself to them. You just need to lead like you. All right, so that's it for my video on what to do when you realize you work for a pretty terrible role model. If you've ever grown in spite of a bad boss, I want to hear your story. Drop it in the comments below. What's one thing you'll never do as a leader? And if you want leadership advice that's grounded in real life resilience, check out my newsletter, The Executive Edge, or join my private LinkedIn group, Leadership Lunch Break. I linked everything in the description below. And if you enjoyed watching this video and you found it helpful, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up by hitting that like button, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you never miss another video from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.